And from a professional perspective, I'm proud of the fact that I played some small part in demonstrating that America could be persuaded to focus on merit and performance rather than race in choosing what sport to follow. Because I think that clears the way for the application of that principle across the board. Sports might be the cutting edge, but the reality is that you come to the NBA, if you've got game, you play. And it doesn't matter where you came from or what color you are. Show me your game, and if you can play, you're in the game.
Right. Well, you know, that I am going to, were asking me, you know, to mention a critic. You know, so
here comes.
Yeah, I'm going to mention a critic.
You can mention anything you want.
I'm going to mention a critic, and the reason I mentioned the critic because you kind of like touched on race. So one critic, and when I saw the quote, I thought to myself that had to sting David Stern more than any other criticism in his career, and here's why. You know, you pushed teams to hire qualified blacks in management. You've recruited black ownership, not Michael Jordan and Robert Johnson. I remember reading about it in 1989. I believe they were from Denver.
Bert Lee and Peter Bino.
Right.
Bert is deceased. Bino's a friend.
Okay. Great. And you have a lot of a close relationship with plenty of league executives and former players who happen to be black. So how did it make you feel when Bryant Gumbel dubbed you, quote, unquote, a modern plantation overseer, unquote?
My reaction was that Bryant Gumbel is an idiot and that I considered it a badge of honor. He was repeating something that the players' representatives had said in the middle of a lockout.
Oh, really?
He was like just regurgitating something.
Oh,
He's the same guy that did a feature on our players and tried to sensationalize their nightlife. And, you know, even though he happens to be black, he was talking about our guys and the women they hang out with, etc. I have no respect whatever for him, so that didn't upset me at all.
Wow. Okay, that comes as a surprise because I just felt he kind of like went in.
No, he wasn't the first. You know, when you're involved in a harsh couple of collective bargaining agreements and negotiations and lockouts, you're going to get the race card played against you.
Okay.
But that never bothered me.
Gotcha. Even though it's a little different coming from him because of who he is in the platform.
My response was, I have done more for people of color than he has.
Wow. Okay. And another thing, another criticism he had made, I think partly he criticized you for the dress code, and he said that you like to keep the hired hands in their place.
Of course.
Now, I feel that I am sure there are a lot of white people who've worked for you who would say you keep them in their place.
I would just
that's my guess.
I would just encourage them to be all they could be. But you know what? The dress code was, it's actually quite funny, and Bryant Gumbel probably is sufficiently ignorant that he couldn't tell you what the dress code is. Because the dress code that I put into place, with the full knowledge of consent of the union, even though they ran away from it as soon as I did it, was if you come into the arena, come in wearing a pair of shoes, jeans, and a shirt with a collar. Let's show our respect to the game. And if you're not in uniform, you can sit on the bench, you should wear a jacket.
Right.
It raised some very important issues. We had to decide how you would rule a leisure suit for a player who wanted to do it. But it was not a big deal. And our players are so well-defined physically that they took it to the next level.
Right. And I was just about to say that. I'm sure, though, neither you nor the players, you know, who hated it at the time ever realized the opportunities it would generate, because now, you know, NBA players have fashion brands, they get endorsement deals, top designers. It's so ironic.
Yeah, I remember getting killed because of it. They were doing cartoons of me, putting me in gold chains and, you know, all kinds of stuff. But the reality was, it didn't take long. Our players went way past it. If you're Russell Westbrook or Kevin Durant or Tyson Chandler, you take, or James Harden, you take pride in who you are, how you're built, how you dress.
Okay.
And actually, it's really part of what I'm proudest of, which is our players who had the worst reputation in sports. When we all started this journey, they were in the basement of the pyramid, I say, and now they're at the top of the pyramid. That gives me great pride every day.
Okay.
People listen to them, respect them, expect them to do the right thing. They work in their neighborhoods, they work for their communities, they speak out on issues. That's exactly what we wished for.
Tell me one of the things you most regret in life. I know everyone has regrets.
No,
even in the last
it's
5 years.
It's like Frank Sinatra, regrets. I have a few.